Welcome to the Glass Blown Open 2019 coverage. This is your top card FPO feature card for round one.
My name is Paige Pierce.
And I'm Zoe Andyke, right here on the commentary with you.
We want to give a huge shout out to the PDGA and Dynamic Disc for sponsoring this coverage, and of course to JomezPro for being out here filming us.
Making it all possible to view some great golf.
As you can see, we have myself, Madison Walker, Kona Panis, and Paige Bjerkaas. This is a really cool course because, first of all, it's in Emporia, and it's just disc golf city. There is not a better town for disc golf, and we start off on hole 1, long bomber.
Hole 1 is a par 5, 1,093 feet. We have out of bounds on the right, which is the road and beyond, and then we've got the path left. This is going to take a couple of really nice drives put together in order to put yourself in position for a birdie. Truly a fair par 5, though.
Absolutely. Like you saw flying down on the drone, on the left side deep is some danger OB. So on this first drive, you just want to make sure you come up kind of where you see those catch cams and set yourself up good.
Paige Bjerkaas on the box first.
This is her Ballista Pro. She loves this thing, has a nice reliable fade at the end. So she's going to be in the short grass, looking in to be in a great position.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much all righty backhands want to be a little more than halfway on the left side of the fairway. So that was a great spot to be.
Yeah, if you push the right side, you're going to be challenging those trees and the bush line that goes all the way down.
And believe it or not, those trees and bushes on the right actually seem to capture and even make discs disappear. I've seen a few discs lost in there.
Madison Walker.
Here we have Madison Walker. And she's pulling the wide hyzer, throwing over OB.
Trusting her disc, and rightfully so. It gets a nice overstable finish and skips even past mine and Paige's.
That was a great distance shot.
Absolutely, on a pure hyzer too the whole way. So, that just goes to show you how good her distance is getting.
Kona Panis also trying to go either over the tree or right of, and looks like it just caught a little bit.
Right to my van. Boom!
Oh, headwind into the out of bounds. And hit your van?
Yes, she did. I was laughing halfway down the fairway. I saw it headed right there.
Whoa, tough position for the upshot there, too. Over OB the whole way, and she brings it back into bounds.
Yeah, honestly, if you get far enough over there, you can kind of take that line that Kona did over the road and kind of eliminate those bushes.
And what'd you throw here, Paige, for your second shot?
This is my Biofusion Defender. It's nice and overstable, so I can just throw it really hard and know that it's going to fade out. And since I shorted my drive, I know that OB green does not come into play for me, so I just threw it hard.
That's a good shot.
And here's Madison. She kind of puts a little bit too much turn on her wrist and gets caught up in that big tree on the right, but luckily it stays in bounds.
Yeah, it spit her back in on the fairway side of things, so she'll potentially be able to get up and down from there.
Yeah. Paige again with her Ballista Pro. She puts this one a little bit higher, so it doesn't get as much distance, but honestly, safe is good. That will be the trend out here, so she's looking good.
And that is what this course demands, Paige, is, no out of bounds. Keep yourself in the fairway. This is only the first hole of a long tournament as well.
Kona with a nice turn on that dish. She got the full flight out of it. And again, in the short grass, this is all you want on this hole. But these next few shots are going to be the tester ones because as you get further down this fairway, it gets tighter.
And sidearm by Madison puts her in a good spot. Again, middle of the fairway.
Yeah, with her hitting that tree and dropping under it, she kind of had to go out wide to get around it. So I thought it was a great play. She didn't get as far as she wanted, I'm sure, but she got down there. And Paige, great approach, a little bit too far to the left, but she hits that hill, and look at this roll.
Oh, my goodness.
We couldn't tell exactly what was happening from where we were standing, but, we ended up seeing it roll to inside the circle.
Yeah, she's actually past the basket on the downhill side for the uphill comeback putt.
And this is my Lucidex verdict. Thankfully, out here we have 400 and 250-foot stake markers, so I knew I was about 300 feet. Unfortunately, I put it a little, not quite wide enough, and I'm OB on the left there.
And this will be Madison's fourth shot. Pulls it a little bit wide.
Honestly, it looked like a good release, just a tiny bit wide.
Yeah.
Her angle was good, just came out a little bit late. And she's going to be OB. She kind of went, a little bit over those bushes. And Kona doesn't want to follow that. So she kind of maybe overcorrects.
I was kind of thinking the same thing, maybe a little bit of worry from what she just watched prior to her shot.
Yeah.
Actually had her release a little bit early.
Yeah, but as you saw, it landed good, but that hill just catches. If you come in with too much hyzer on that hill, you're going to get a roll, and unfortunately hers was out of bounds.
Tough footing here for Madison Walker right next to the out of bounds. Shrubs in the way.
Really amazing shot. Really amazing shot. The touch forehand, that's her Colt, I believe.
And we'll have three of you guys putting here. Nice.
Kona with the SloMez on hole 1.
Ooh.
Amazing putt.
I think that was probably
Also with the Colt.
outside of circle 1.
Oh, yes, it was outside the circle. She jumped it in. And I know personally, I'm pretty good friends with Kona, and she's been talking to me about her putt. She's kind of going through a little bit of struggles with it. So coming down, second national tour of the year, and hitting a jumper on the first hole, it's got to be a motivating factor. So
yeah.
And Paige and I both don't connect from Paige just inside the circle, and I'm just inside the circle as well. And that one I was surprised about.
Yeah, me too. Paige Bjerkaas is a solid, solid putter. So she's just a little high on that one.
And, it could have something to do with being in Emporia, wanting to capitalize and just maybe a little bit of nerves. But like you said, it's first hole of a long tournament. And I think, a world champion, she is going to shake those nerves off. And that's nothing to be upset about.
Most definitely. Finishes up. She's going to take that bogey. Day 1, national tour, glass blown open, biggest disc golf festival of the year. How's your stomach feel?
Nerve check.
Nerve check.
So unfortunately, Madison walks away with a triple bogey, Kona walks away with a double bogey, and Paige and I both walk away with a bogey.
Now we're coming up to hole 2. It's 557-foot par 4. We do have OB on the left and OB on the right. A couple of trees as you approach the latter part of the fairway. Makes for a little bit of trouble and really actually demands a really well-placed first shot.
Absolutely. The first shot, honestly, you can choose what you feel comfortable with distance-wise. How much do you want to bite off? Like Zoe said, the second one is the one that you have to worry about trees. So this one, just make sure you throw a disc that doesn't hyzer out too much or doesn't flip too much.
And, all these tee pads are placed really well. If you look up the fairway on the right-hand side, there's a really thick, bushy tree that takes away from kind of cranking a really powerful hyzer.
Mm-hmm.
Yet you can't let go of it too early because of that OB on the left.
Yeah.
Looks like you landed in there.
Yeah, I throw something that has a little bit of late turn and then hyzers back so that I don't challenge that bush that you were just talking about.
I think that bush actually got a lot of disc action today,
Definitely
both MPO and FPO fields.
Definitely did.
Great drive by Kona.
Yeah, she's sitting right by that 250-foot stake, so she knows exactly how far she needs to throw, and she's right in the center of the fairway, so she has the option to go left or right of those big trees.
And same thing there for Madison Walker. She's just short of that. Is that a 250?
Yes,
marker?
it is.
Yep.
The red ones are 250, and the blue ones are 400. So anytime you see those, that's a good visual aid for you.
It's nice, too, that those are consistent in those numbers.
Yes,
all
absolutely.
throughout the course.
Great shot, right in the bullseye. No putt necessary. That's always a good feeling.
Especially out here, par 4s and par 5s. Got a lot of things to think about. Putting, if you can take it off the list, that's great.
Madison a little bit low. She leaves herself just outside circle 1. Again, great line, but just a tiny bit low. I think she wishes she got a little bit more height on that, especially with that upslope right there.
Looks like Kona had a little bit higher of a release there than she wanted, and the tree kind of took her down early. Sets her up for a circle 2, I believe.
I was inside that 250-foot stake. This is my classic blend Marshall. I just go on the right side of the trees, just avoid any chance of hitting the trees.
Yeah, I like that. Kept it underneath that low-hanging ceiling. Oh, boy. Kona for the jump putt. The form
Her putt's looking
there.
great.
Yeah, it looks really good.
It's looking really good. It's only 2 holes in, but I'm excited for her to see how good the disc looks coming out of her hand.
Exactly. Me too. A little strong there for the circle 2 putt from Madison. Let's see if she can get this comebacker. In the heart.
Solid.
Very good.
And confident.
Yes. And when you miss a putt like that kind of long, that's when a player has to dig deep and say, I believe in myself. I'm going to make this putt. And Madison certainly did that right there.
Absolutely. And the rest of us will tap out. Kona with a par and myself with a birdie. And we are on to hole 3. This is a really fun hole.
Hole 3. It is a par 3. 489 feet. As you can see, it's quite downhill. You got a couple of trees off the tee pad right away that are going to force you to pick the, which line you're going to take. There's a drastic hyzer, kind of a slight hyzer, a straight shot, and a sidearm shot for the right-handed thrower.
Yeah, and then when you get down towards the basket, you have those 2 late trees, but they really don't come into play on a drive, just on a putt, maybe. So on this first shot, you want to make sure you don't throw it OB over the sidewalk or into this field over here.
OB left. Yeah, so if you're picking that straight or center gap, that is the only worry, is hyzering out left.
Yeah, and I think most of the people that you see playing this hole will be going through the straight gap. So the thing you have to worry about the most is that stuff on the left. And, when you carry the disc downhill and it's losing speed, it naturally wants to go left anyway. It's really challenging to keep it in bounds over there.
Kona looks like she just misses a little right, a little high. Comes down.
But it's safe.
Yeah.
I think safe on this hole is good because it's even from where she landed, it's an easy up and down. It should be,
Yes.
Tournament nerves definitely get to you and, you can mess up. But 9 times out of 10, a player on the feature card of FPO is going to get up and down from there.
Madison actually lands her drive really nice. Gets through the gap clean. Looking good. Kona throwing the hyzer over the out of bounds, it looks like. Getting that little skip under the tree, coming up a little bit short.
Yeah, unfortunately, it didn't get that skip. I think it looked like she was trying to get it to skip, but it just kind of like skittled and...
Skid stop.
Yeah. Madison again with a beautiful sidearm approach. A little bit of Anheuser release.
Puts her
like
right
a bullet
next to the basket.
Mm-hmm.
Paige just pulls it a little bit right, so she's landed short. That was for your birdie putt right there.
Yeah, I didn't have a look, honestly, and I didn't want to get crazy. It's hole 3 of round 1, so I just kind of laid it up. Paige definitely wasn't laying that one up, though, but didn't get it quite high enough. Kind of shook her hand, maybe a grip issue there.
I'm not quite sure. Definitely something. Tough stance there for Kona. Leaves herself for the drop in 4.
And there you are in the back, lining up an approach.
Oh, yeah. I know her. And what'd you throw off the tee there, Paige? Because I know you have to kind of pick a disc that's going to stay straighter or flip up a little bit straighter longer.
Yeah, that was my Lucid X Convict. So I knew I could put a little turn on it, but it would carry that, but then it would also get that reliable finish at the end, so it wouldn't carry OBU rate.
Gotcha. And Paige tapping in for the par there. Couple of pars, couple of bogeys, and we're on to hole 4. 423 feet. Again, it's a par 3 that we have downhill, but we've got danger. We've got danger on the right. There's a green kind of labeled or marked with the flags, and then we have the sidewalk left and a tight green, actually.
Yeah, it is. For Emporia, anyway.
Yeah, for Emporia. We're talking wooded green here.
Yeah, it totally is. But yeah, like you said, it's downhill. And so that OB on the left definitely comes into play. So you're going to see us going wide like I do here with my Biofusion Defender.
Looks like you got a good snap on that shot. Released it on the line. It looked like you picked.
Yeah, and I got myself to circle's edge down there, hoping I'm not going to be challenging that tree on my putt.
Madison taking a similar line, not quite as high, but hopefully that disc has the stability and gets that skip. And she's inbounds. It's looking good.
It came up, I think it was a little bit lower than she wanted, which is actually turns out to be good because I think it was also a little wider than she wanted. So she came up short of that OB, and she's actually going to have just a very short approach.
And Paige with that Ballista Pro again. Man, she's throwing that thing really well. It's definitely her go-to in the bag.
Yeah, she loves it. She has a few of them in her bag. I'm sure we'll get to see it, so stay tuned. But yeah, she's loving that mold and throwing it really well.
Kona goes with a really wide, extra wide, high hyzer. Oh,
And
look at
gets
this
the
roll. Wow. Right up to that kind of dry creek bed.
Yeah, and that plays as casual, so even if you are surrounded by water right there, it is considered casual.
Pulls out the sidearm upshot. Looks like she let go of it just a little bit early and maybe potentially higher than she wanted. Paige is running a good a jump putt, actually, from there. Whether it's a good layup or actually going for it, it's a great play.
Madison also with a jump putt.
Big jump putt, and she gets metal out of that. I mean, that was a pretty strong jump putt right there. So
Definitely uphill, outside circle too, all the distance she needed.
And you were, in fact, clear from that tree. Look at this, SloMez. In the bucket. Give me the birdie, baby. Great shot.
Thank you.
Well, it looks like Kona's actually clear of that tree as well.
Yes, she's on the right side of that tree, so she has an open look, but puts it a little bit high.
Yeah, it looks like she also may have rushed that one just a little bit. The release was clean, but pretty fast.
Yeah, but still a solid stroke.
Oh, yeah.
2019 Trilogy Challenge is here. This is a fun, casual event that anyone can run. For the $40 entry fee, players get 3 exclusive discs, a shirt, and a mini. Then, using only those discs, they play around in a more casual atmosphere, but there are prizes for the winners. With already around 200 events all over the country, find one near you at trilogychallenge.com.
Again, shout out to Dynamic Discs. Thank you for providing us with this coverage.
And we're moving on to hole 5, 521 feet, par 4. We've got some rolling hills. It's downhill and then uphill. A couple of bumps in the middle, sidewalk right and side, and also an OB line lined with flags left. And you actually, there's a little bit of trouble off the tee if you come up short. We'll see from this view right here. The sidewalk actually splits right and left. And you want to be well in the middle of those.
Yeah, I think this is one of the harder holes on the course, just as far as how narrow the inbounds is. You probably only have about 70 feet left to right at the skinniest part of this green.
Yes, I agree with you. This is one of the more difficult holes on the course. A little low release there, but Madison is safe inside of that. I would call that a large island right there.
Large island,
Yeah,
yes.
it's a pretty large island.
I think, honestly, that's all you want is just inbounds. It doesn't really matter if it comes up short because you still have the chance to get up and down. And all of us are capable of throwing that far. It just might be a little bit longer than we intended to.
And that's the name of the game this weekend is keep it inside of the ropes, keep it inside of the sidewalks. There's a lot of OB out here.
That was Paige's Air Ballista Pro. So she got a little bit more distance than she's getting on those just normal opto ones. And Kona almost gets just as far as Paige.
And approaching, this is actually a little more drastic uphill than what you can tell. So
Look at that skip.
oh my goodness, is she touching fringe
Yeah,
there?
she is.
Oh my goodness, that
She
is
totally
amazing.
is. Got a few
Yes.
skips. Honestly, you don't know if you're going to skip on this grass, you know?
Right.
Some of it is super skippy and some of it isn't. So that actually went, that was a pretty heavy thing for me to account for in my practice rounds. of which greens are skippy and which ones aren't.
Definitely. Some of them are like Velcro. Some of them kind of remind me of De La Viega, that really hard pack.
And Kona just kind of glides it a little bit too much. It was a beautiful line. As you saw, she shaped it right around the tree, but just had a little bit too much glide and sailed it OB.
I like that you took that inside route versus the hyzer there. I'm not sure if the low-hanging branches were not as bad in the middle or if your just position was better.
Yeah, I think, honestly, it was the most direct route, and my brain did play a trick on me, like, oh, throw sidearm, oh, throw hyzer. But honestly, at the end of the day, if I was playing catch, I would have just thrown straight through it. So I just told myself, it's not as hard as it looks, just throw it.
And I like that you actually just walked us through kind of what was going on in the mental thought process there. Every player out here will face this challenge on this hole this week, whether it's MPO or FPO. Those trees are going to make you have to stretch out and make a good shot. Oh, birdie. And moving on right here to hole 6. It's another par 3. It's 343 feet. And, you know, this is all uphill right here. We've got the sand trap, as you can see right there, is an out-of-bounds bunker. And really, besides the OB deep, that's the only real danger you can get into on this hole.
Yeah, totally. The OB deep does come into play, especially because you have to throw it really hard because it's uphill. I just early released this. The disc really just slipped right out of my hand. And I mean, I have no excuse, but that's what happened. And honestly, I was very excited to just be in bounds.
Very excited at this point, yeah.
Pars are good out here,
pars
honestly.
Are great. Pars are gold. Madison, solid release, solid drive there.
A great shot.
Well up the fairway.
And Kona here with her Shrike. She loves this thing. Either of the blue discs you guys see her throwing are both Star Strikes. They're her main driver right now.
Wow, and she got way up there.
Yeah, she's just outside circle 1.
Of there. Yeah, that's not too many of the FPOs were driving that far, I don't think, today. So that was a really good pull.
Paige again with that Air Ballista Pro.
I was going to say, is that the Air?
Yeah, and you can see, like, even though it's air plastic, it's overstable. You see both of those shots have gotten a lot of
solid
finish on
it. Yeah. Right under the basket, a little stress-free, almost under the basket, stress-free par there for you.
Paige running it. Long jumper. Doesn't quite get at the heights. Maybe she wasn't running it, but she loves to do those long jump putts. She's incorporated that into her game.
I know. I really like that, actually. Whether it's running the basket or a really good upshot, it's working out for her.
Mm-hmm. Anytime you can get close.
And this is for the 2 right here for Kona Panis. Oh, yeah.
Right in the
SloMez
heart.
That one right in the heart of the basket. Ooh.
I love the SloMez. Look at that
confidence.
confidence.
She's looking solid.
Running it in. She's feeling great right now.
Actually,
through 6 holes and 2 outside the circle SloMez features.
I just love that. She's already had 2 SloMez features with her putts.
Amazing. It was really good to see. And you can just, Kona is such a competitor. You see the fire coming out of her, and, you know, when she's not playing well, she's fired up because she knows she can do better. And when she is playing well, she's fired up.
Yeah, and you know, you never see any give up in her. She's fighting through the whole way.
Absolutely.
We're looking at a 515-foot par 4 for number 7. We definitely have trouble on the right. OB is wide right. OB is wide left with the sidewalk. And then getting into the forest green here. I mean, this is a heavily wooded green for Emporia.
Absolutely.
This is a tough hole, though. It's a little more uphill than, you know, you can even tell it starts off kind of down and then goes into the uphill feature, making it play a little bit longer.
Yeah, the initial downhill kind of makes you think you want to throw it down, but then, like you said, later in the hole where it comes up, if it is still traveling down, obviously you're not going to get as much distance as you think. So I actually just try to throw this directly forward. It was a little higher than I wanted, but
I was just going to ask you that actually too. Keeping it kind of chest or head height off the tee pad the whole way was my goal, but I know
that was my intention.
I threw mine high as well. Beautiful release there.
It flipped late. I thought the same thing. It was a good release, but it flipped late. I'm not sure if the disc flipped or maybe a little bit of error in her wrist. But yeah, she hit the tree, which is actually good because it was headed towards OB, and with it hitting that tree, it kind of just dropped straight down and stayed in bounds. So she still has a look for the birdie, actually.
She got that green flag. Green means good.
And as you can see, she is just a thunder pecker away. This is her Tour Series disc, which is a fairway driver. So, she's 3 to 330 away. So
it was a great shot. I think she's closer to pin high. Paige with a difficult stance
this shot
behind
was incredible.
That tree. Yeah, and I know a lot of females that were behind that tree today, and that was a well-executed upshot for such an awkward stance that's kind of taking away from power.
Yeah, exactly. It took away all of her power. She had to step out, stand still with an overstable. That was her enforcer. I asked her. She, threw that flippy line on that enforcer and just parked it. It was amazing.
Looks like you got a stress-free tap in there, Paige.
Yes. I've been landing at that distance now quite a few times this round, so starting to warm up on the 120-foot approaches.
There we go. That feels nice.
Madison from outside circle 2.
And that's the second or third time now I've seen Madison stay on the ground and just powerfully putt those outside of circle 2s. Great birdie there for Paige. I mean, that was a well put together string of 3 shots.
Yes, it was.
Couple of tap-ins and we get to move on. Paige is trying to move on quick. You don't know what she's doing.
I'm sprinting to the bathroom. There's the clubhouse right there. It's beautiful. Hot food. Yeah, this course is amazing. I love playing here.
All right, we're moving on to hole 8. It's 903 feet. Little par 5, just a little 903 feet. Up and down some rolling hills. There's actually a lot of danger here. This is one of the toughest holes on the course, too. I think we have the sidewalk to the right, OB, and then we've got water. Well, it's actually flag lines up to the water left, OB.
Yeah, so the first part is flag lines, and then when those flags stop, the water comes into play. And this is actually a new hole. They combined 2 of the old holes and made one incredibly difficult par 5. I choose not to be aggressive and just throw a mid-range off the tee to kind of break the hole down and just play for my par. Paige does the same, actually, but with her judge. This is a putter.
Wow.
And it was such a beautiful shot. Perfect release, perfect glide, everything, just right in the middle.
Kona's throwing a power driver here, right?
Yes, she is. This is her destroyer. She's going wide and high, and this is actually exactly how you want to play the hole if you're choosing to throw a driver, because if you don't get it wide enough, you challenge the OB on the left.
Well, and this is one of those places where the skip factor is in full effect. Watch this right here.
I was just going to say that. The skip is brutal on this hole.
Because Madison played that plenty wide over OB even.
Yes. And I knew when that left her hand, about halfway through the flight that it was going to be out of bounds just because of the skips.
Looked like you had a little slip there. A
little bit of a slip. But honestly, I was laying up anyway. So, maybe that cost me 20 feet, but I'm in bounds and I'm in the middle.
No problem. Yeah.
And Paige looks to repeat her same shot, but she kind of lets it go a little bit early, and it just filters out of bounds just barely on the left side.
And do you know if she was throwing a driver there or another?
That was her judge again.
Oh, okay. So both of you went slower speeds there for the first 2 shots.
Kona with a pretty shot, a little bit low. When you get that much angle on it, you need it to be higher. But, she hit the ground and kind of cut rolled and stayed right in the middle.
Stayed safe. Stayed happy.
So we had a discussion about the cone. Can you move it? Can you not move it? It was there to signify, do not throw off this tee pad. This is not the right tee pad. And so she had a little bit of weird footing. She made do, though, and she got down there.
So would you say that your card ruled that cone was part of the course?
Yes, we did.
Very good.
Yes, anything that was there when the round started is then part of the course and cannot be moved.
All right. That's good that you guys talked about it too. That way every player is on the same page and you're playing a fair game, playing the right game.
Absolutely. We're trying to figure out, we all want to play within the rules, so we're trying to figure these things out together. And Kona's throwing a beautiful sidearm here. Yeah. Again with her destroyer, but this time sidearm. and she gets a little bit of a roll. She didn't quite get to the basket, but honestly,
It was a great shot, though. Well
amazing
executed.
shot.
Madison, another backhand. That ceiling right there is so tough. I mean, to get all the way to the basket past those trees is very, very tough to stay underneath those branches.
And that was so close to being a perfect shot in my eyes. I thought that shot was beautiful, just a tiny bit high and hit the branches, but she threw a great approach and she's right there.
Kona at like 58 feet here. Man, that was a really, really great attempt.
Good speed control, good spin.
Got a little metal there, a little aggressive, but still a great looking putt. Oh, man. Kind of some unlucky chains there. I couldn't tell from this
it
angle.
hit a lot of chains for sure. I'm not sure if it was a true spit out or not. I try to be really critical on those so that I can learn, did I hit it a little too right? Did I hit it a little too hard? And that way it just kind of helps with your mental game as well. Like on this one, obviously I hit it a little too left and a little too low. Definitely not a spit out, just a missed putt.
Well, and I like your thought process and the way you analyze it. So you're like, all right, well, this is what I did, and now I can move on. It's really good, actually, that you're sharing with us kind of what's going on mentally there. I think that the crowd out there can learn from those things.
Now, as you saw, headed into hole 9, UDisc is helping us out with the scores, and you could see I was on top of the leaderboard at this point with Jessica Wees 1 stroke behind.
And we're going into our final hole, the first half. It's a par 4. It's 611 feet. It is also a new redesign for this course, and it is no joke. I mean, this is definitely, I'm going to say it's probably the 3rd hardest playing hole or 2nd hardest playing hole on the course at this point. You're teeing off from out of bounds, and you've got to make it through a tree gap, a tunnel tree gap. If you do not make it through this tree gap over that fence, you are out of bounds and proceed to the drop zone.
Yeah, so if you also, any OB is drop zone. So if you go over this sidewalk, unfortunately, like Kona did, you're also going to the drop zone. So we're just trying to throw a slower speed disc that gets down in that grass. And honestly, I don't really think this hole is threeable for an FPO player.
That'd be an incredible feat if that did happen. I don't think it is either.
We will see this week. Make sure you guys stay tuned for all 4 of the rounds and see if we're correct or not. Madison, it was a good release, just a little bit early and hit that tree, which stopped her from getting over the wall. And kind of same thing with Paige. We all just had a little bit too far to the left, maybe overcompensation, trying not to flip it to the right side OB.
You still can't see the basket from the drop zone here, but there's that whole flagged golf green or golf fairway is out of bounds. Again, sidewalk and left, and the actual basket is up around the corner to the right.
Yeah, so really we don't want to challenge the right side at all. We're all going to the drop zone, so, we don't want to go OB again. So we're just kind of trying to throw safe, not challenge the corner, and just take our medicine and get up and down.
Mm-hmm. And that really is probably the best idea at this point too. If you're already carrying an extra OB stroke, it's like, all right, let's just get ourselves in good position to get to the basket.
Yeah, what is the Jomez saying? Take your medicine. Welcome to Bogey Town, something like that. I think we're all choosing to take our medicine here. Paige now with her judge. She throws this thing really well. Probably why she put her name on it, I would say.
Oh, definitely so.
She gets up there just outside the bullseye.
I'm loving that.
And Kona with a sidearm approach. I think this is something that is definitely getting her or saving her lots of strokes, incorporating this sidearm into her game. You guys, I can't tell you how impressive it is just to know that Kona didn't really have a sidearm as of 9 months ago.
Yeah, exactly. Very dominant righty backhand player, putting that shot in the bag. That's going to give her so many more tricks in the bag to be able to, finish differently with her disc or play different landscapes and hillsides.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Madison, on the other hand, has been throwing sidearm for years.
She's ripping them right up there. That one just came out a little bit low.
Low. Good speed, though. She has a great sidearm.
She's just outside of circle 1 here. And there is OB deep and kind of to the right there. I think she stayed safe.
She did stay safe. I mean, that, she didn't hit any metal. And that's, as a player with OB behind the basket, when you miss metal, you're thinking worst case scenario OB. But honestly, super good result that it stayed in bounds.
Definitely.
And Kona with that great putt.
I know, that was beautiful. Yes. I mean, I know it's a bogey and all, but you made that putt.
Yeah, I mean, that's as best as I could do from the drop zone.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty stoked about that.
Get this comebacker here. Harnessing the confidence, fully believing in the shot. Now she's going to have to go up and tap in there. Paige. Finishing up with her bogey. And Madison will be tapping out here for the double.
Yeah, so as you can see, the course started getting quite a bit harder towards the end of this back 9. Hole 8 and hole 9, both we all kind of struggled on. And, the second half of the course gets even harder. So if you guys want to see some challenging golf and some really well-executed shots, make sure you tune in to the back 9 and see how we finish up.
I know I got to see the rest of this country club, especially if it's getting tougher.
Click the logo, subscribe now, and also ring the bell so you guys are alerted when all the new episodes of Jomez coverage drops. Thanks again to the PDGA and Dynamic for providing us with this coverage.
I'm Zoe Andyke, and thank you, Paige Pierce, for joining me on the commentary.